Hello, this is 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝗺𝗰𝗁 from Istanbul, Turkey, and
I'm Karen Boswell, and together we are going to spend the next 20 minutes or under, if we can make it shorter, to share our collaborative work with you. So the title of our presentation is "Can You Feel the Heat? Thinking Climate Crisis via Interactive Documentary." There's a third member of our group called Vanessa Zalot, who unfortunately can't be with us today, but she's with us in spirit. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
So we are a group that came out of the Polyphonic Documentary Working Group, and we're going to be sharing with you our work in progress, as we still haven't come up with a total, complete end product, but it's coming along nicely, so we want to share it with you.
And personally, I participated in the second part of Polyphonic Documentary, and we decided to work on sound and color as a group with Karen Boswell, Vanessa, and me. So we named our project as "Can You Feel the Heat?" because we are working on non-verbal part of this project. Let's say we wanted to, our common motivation was like creating a project which has visual and sound narratives stand out rather than verbal narration. And we worked on the emotions, senses, and feelings. We wanted to make something non-linear, interactive, non-fictional, which is based on non-fictional representations. And also our other motivation was our being practice-based people altogether. We were also filmmakers at the same time. So Karen, maybe you can talk about the interface choice of the project.
Yeah, so we had this fantastic opportunity in the Polyphonic Documentary Group to have two of the designers of two interactive documentary software programs, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃 and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃, with us. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's designer 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃 and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's designer Florian. Help me with pronunciation.
𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃, maybe.
Who's also presenting at this conference. So so really our choice of whether to use some of the other software available was not our choice. Personally, I don't actually know Echo Studio, but I know that's quite a common one that people are working in. I have worked in Clint before, but in this group we worked with both 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I had already tried out working in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 with the same material. So we all used, for those of you who don't know what the Polyphonic Documentary Group, we all shot, every member of the group shot 3 video or submitted 3 pieces of video material, which is the material that we were all working with. So with that same material, the first one I worked on my own was in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. So can you just show the next slide? Yeah, so in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, the approach is more what we call a branch narrative, in that there's still some element, even though it's non-linear, there, in the way I worked with it, at least, there was still some element of linearity. There was one piece that started at the beginning that was like an introduction. Then everybody could take as long as they like journeying around all the material, but it all kind of took you at the end to a kind of conclusion over a sort of period. And what we wanted to explore as a group, we called ourselves the Sound and Color Group, because we were very particularly wanting to break away from the potential, which is a very exciting potential, of helping people explore ideas and thoughts and arguments, and more to experience interactive documentary, as Zeynep has explained, in this non-linear way, in this non-verbal way, which 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 lends itself to fantastically. Zeynep will now talk to you about the specifics of why this worked well for us.
Yeah, actually, you can see now a SNU editor page of 𝗓𝗃. So basically, SNU means smallest narrative unit, and you put some in keywords and out keywords of your video to SNUify it. And you have specific keywords, and at the same time, you, by putting a comma and all to your keywords, you are randomizing your videos. So while we had this, both the challenge and the bliss of having non-verbal, non-linear thing, at the same time, we wanted to randomize everything to have a kind of not authorless, but just to open the potential meanings of our project. And I think there's a resemblance between this, not I think, as a group, we think there's a resemblance between the system, how our brain works. Like in the hippocampus, we have neurons which are constructing and reconstructing the memory. And between these neurons, there are snaps, which explains the relationship. The interactivity between neurons is called snaps. And also this interactivity is also useful to conduct a therapy type EMDR. And this is also exactly similar to what we are doing in 𝗓𝗃. So we are basically constructing little neurons and sometimes repairing, reshaping, recarving new narratives, shapes, and figures and meanings of different visual images. So also, I can say that this is the most collaborative thing that I have been done throughout my maybe documentary filmmaking process experience. So we worked around 2 years with this small sound and color group, and it can be literally called a collaborative methodology, because we will share the working space on Google Drive, and you can see how we worked all together. We have like tons of notes, piles of readings, and we both theoretically and practically, we worked in collaboration with this research question in mind, considering the unpredictable outcomes of the nonlinear interactive documentary form. How does a creative process driven by a felt response to sound and color inform eventual meaning? So as I told you before, we had many challenges, but we intentionally put these challenges for ourselves to enhance the creativity and potential of different meanings. As I told you, we had lots of working spaces. This is one of them. And I also find this, I also consider this space as the part of our artistic process. So this is just a mirror board that I took from our notes and put some keywords on this. I tried to visualize in different colors again, like we do in our project, classified them according to colors and keywords to understand better, to zoom out and look again to the project. And maybe you can talk about this, Karen, our outputs, let's say, of the project.
Yes, so the work in progress, like Zeynep, I also had the first ever experience of real collaborative, creative collaboration in this work, and this is really what we want to bring and discuss with you during the conference. The nature of our collaboration and how that got reflected in our outputs as we move forward. So as Zeynep explained, we used Google Drive quite a lot and shared a lot of ideas and actually what you could call assets in the Google Drive. So one of the things that I worked on quite a lot was looking for the right selecting what I thought was appropriate to come into each of these different experiments, and creating interesting loops and sound montages that we could work on together. And out of these, we had one piece. Can you just go back one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah, one piece, the one on the left, was we experimented with having 9 of these looping images on the screen at any one time, and the other piece we experimented with having 4. We had a third experiment which was with 6, which actually didn't last long, and these 2 are both ongoing at the moment, and we intend to carry on working and to choose the final format as soon as we can find the time to carry on finishing our piece. So now what we want to do is to share with you little extracts of each of these pieces so that we can carry on describing our thinking. So we're not going to talk while we share this, so we'll give you a minute or two of the 9-piece clip.
Yeah. In order to be on the safe side, I want to reshare it with sound. So when I play, you should be hearing the sound.
So all the leaves have fallen really early this year.
The words extreme and heat make me think of our energy meter.
And it will continue like this. And basically,
Yes.
So before we go into the 4-piece one, I'd just like to explain what was happening, because obviously you didn't have the opportunity to interact directly. But when you hover on each image, you hear the sound of that image. But we also created a long linear soundtrack that continues throughout that process. So those little phrases that you hear, all the leaves are falling early this year, or there's another one which is the trees are freaking out, and heat makes me think of the electricity meter. Those are random in a long soundtrack. And what we're currently working on is how to avoid that kind of effect that happens when you click. We want it to be more fluid, that when you click on one image, you can turn it into full screen, or you can leave it as this 9 screen page. And the idea that we're carrying on working with is also the sound design. So we're thinking about how to make the person engaging with the piece engaging as much with audio as visual, and hence our title, Sound and Colour. And as you can see, we were thrilled with the way that slowly the piece evolves through different colours, but extraordinary juxtapositions happen as you engage with the piece. And now Zeynep will show the 3-piece one, the 4-image one.
Yes. So yeah, basically we talked on transitions, motions, emotions, shadows, appearance versus reality in the context of climate change. That's why in this version we have lots of transitions, and there's an introductory video just before the interactivity, which welcomes you at first sight. And yeah. Also,
Can I just interrupt
Of
just
course.
so you understand about the sound in this piece as well. So this piece
yes,
is a
please.
looped soundtrack at the moment. However, when you hover over any one clip, the sync sound of that clip also comes through over the loop. So again, we're playing with sound design as well as with image design.
Yeah, again, the sound is in transition. You can hear both the soundtrack, not music. We didn't want to use music, but it's that soundtrack, a merge of a combination of both fire and rain at the same time, because we were always thinking about the meanings and the connotations. Rain can be something both romantic and just disastrous at the same time. It also the same with the fire. And I wanted to share with you a piece from our workspace again. This is where we talk about shadows, double exposure, mystical transformation, magical world, and so on. Also, I wanted to show you the interactivity, the collaborative part of our working process. So at this part, we were calling ourselves with initials on notes, and it was, I guess, Karen, she was asking, Zeynep, you were talking about something, please expand on it, question marks. And I told her Z expanding. So I always think like we are trying to deconstruct the conventional methods in this project. So while video and audio track goes parallel on a timeline, there is no space for the audience to think about something alternative. But in our project, we are working on something which is trying to give some space, carve some space for the audience to imagine different things. But at the same time, we are also questioning the thing that, is it only a space for imagination, or is it also distracting us from what we are trying to say? This is also going parallel with what we are doing. We're always conscious of conveying the meaning to the other side. It's not only art for art. It's at the same time we are considering the keywords of this project, because we have a kind of naive belief in the performative archive of what Ji-Hoon Kim puts in the literature. He claims the IDOC as performative archive renders both documentary text and its construction of knowledge and memory as connective and co-evolving in response to digital technologies, operation, and the user's behaviors of searching, navigating, and producing data. So we believe we are not only producing something new, at the same time, we are building up on the archive about climate, heat, documentary, filmmaking, and documentary studies. At the same time, whoever interacts with our project will be contributing to this archive. So it is, in all aspects, it will be a performative act at the end of the day.
Yes, so our performative experiment and experience started when we were working together with our clips inside the Google Drive. And so, for example, the idea of how you use loops. First of all, we started using loops where the loop started at the beginning of the loop, ended at the beginning of the clip, ended at the end of the clip, and then started again at the beginning of the clip. And then we started experimenting with what happens if the loop goes forwards and then backwards, and started looking at the idea of how a loop suspends time and how the way that a viewer engages with loops in a different way, whether when there's forward continuous time-based motion or whether it's repetitive. So these examples, for example, there's one clip is where a tractor is coming towards us, so that there's no way you could loop this and feel that time is standing still, because it is very time-based action. Whereas the loop on the right is of someone in a very hot country and huge amount of heat, hopefully that's expressed through the curtain and their moving body, and you can hear them breathing deeply. They're sleeping in the heat. The way this is looped, we could watch it for the next 3 hours, and I think you would not know where the loop is starting and ending, because it's all about creating a timeless connection with a place. So we ended up choosing largely these fixed shots where we could begin and end the loop in a way that suspended time. And we're coming to the end, but just to share with you the way that we looked at these clips within the Google Drive. For example, we had these ideas of whether the meaning is produced in the clip through music and narration, which some of the clips were, and we chose not to use them because of the absence of that timeless quality. And we chose ones where meaning could be the meaning could be added through juxtaposition, but not already edited in the clip, but that where the juxtaposition of the participant will help find the meaning. Sometimes there's some meaning in the movement. So we're looking at how these clips give meaning, and our last column was feeling, not meaning, which is often the ones that we chose, the clips where the clip itself provoked some kind of a meaning, a timeless feeling through the clip. So this is our last slide to try and pull this together, that in that creative space in the Google Drive and the creative space in 𝗏𝗏, we ourselves were coming into juxtaposition with one another. So in the same way as we were working with montage theory and how bringing two potentially unrelated elements together to add meaning, we ourselves as a collaborative team of three, when we came together and the way we brought our ideas together became greater than the whole, us as individuals. So the meaning and the creativity of what we produced was a true example, I'd say, of the potential of the collaborative process, where it became greater than any one of us could have done individually.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. And thank you for listening us.